Coming up on the Suze Orman Show, a shocking turn of events for my one-on-one guest. Now, I can see you on TV, and I can see how heavy this is as everybody else, because you are literally, as you're sitting here, my love, breaking out in hives. Can you feel that?
Yeah, I know I'm like a...
And you asked me, can I afford it?
All of my buddies, they all have Apple iPads, and I am writing things down on notebook paper like a caveman.
Oh, you poor baby, you poor baby boy. Hi, everybody. I'm Suze Orman, and you are watching The Suze Orman Show. Now, while it is true that you are watching The Suze Orman Show tonight, or you wouldn't be hearing me say this, the real question is, are you watching your money? Are you watching the paperwork that you sign? And do you even know when you put your signature on something, do you know what it's for? Are you watching the information that happens to be on your credit reports? Or do you just think everything in your life is going to work out okay and you really don't need to monitor or pay close attention to your money? Well, what you are about to see with my one-on-one guest coming up next is something that could happen to you. I'm about to talk to Nina. She wrote in to the Suze Orman Show asking for a Suze Smackdown. But I'm here to tell you what she got was far more than any Smackdown I ever could have given. Just watch what happens and could happen to you if you don't pay attention to your money. Nina joins me from New York City. She's 39 and she's been married for 2 years. Nina is an administrative assistant, which she says pays the bills. She also is an experimental theater producer, director, which doesn't pay the bills. Welcome to New York City, Nina. But she's convinced that someday it will. And so, Nina, tell me, why do you think you need a Suze Smackdown?
A couple of reasons. I have had a long series of admin jobs, and they pay well, but I just feel like I've always gone month to month, and I've never put aside any savings, really. I don't have an emergency fund. I have a tiny little bit in retirement. And at the same time, I was accumulating some debt on my credit card. And I also, during that time of accumulating the debt, I also gained a fair amount of weight.
How much did you gain?
Over the past 10 years, I gained 80 pounds.
All right, so you want me to smack 80 pounds off that body of yours, right?
That's right.
And according to your credit card debt, you have $7,600 of credit card debt. You want $7,600 worth of smacks to get rid of your credit card debt as well.
Smacked.
Got it. All right. Now, while I know you want a smack from me, I think you've been smacked in the face big time, not by me, but by preparing for this show.
Yeah.
The things we asked you to do for this show, just so all of you know, is we asked you to check your FICO scores. We asked you to look at your credit reports, and we want to see them as well so that I know you're telling me the truth about your financial situation. Can you tell everybody the smack that you found on your credit report just about a week ago preparing for this show?
Yeah, I reviewed the credit reports, and my score was extremely low, way lower than I expected. And as I looked through, it gives you all the reasons why you've been dinged. And the reasons were a lot to do with missed payments by a family member who used my name when she didn't have credit. She used my name to buy 2 homes and a car. And as recently as this year, had missed several payments.
All right, so let's stop for a second there. Did all of you hear what Nina just said? What Nina actually discovered when she just looked at her credit report was that she is not $7,000 in credit card debt alone. She's almost $450,000 in mortgage debt, car loan debt. She doesn't have a car. She's in New York City. Debt that has been missed in terms of payments. And it's all on her, in her name alone. Now, one watching here has to ask Nina, did they steal your identity? Did they forge your name? How did this happen to you?
No, they did not steal my name or forge my identity. I willingly gave it. I was completely ignorant at the time in 2005 when I first gave my name or allowed all of this to happen. I really didn't know anything about what that process meant. It just seemed like, well, they're making the payments. So
you're okay. So
yeah,
they
so
came to
why
you,
am I
they
worried
said,
about
just
it?
sign here on the dotted line. You said, okay, you signed your name once, you signed your name twice, you signed your name 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, but you never really got what that meant by signing your name and the financial ramifications for it. So
Not at
the
all.
smackdown that you got isn't going to come from Suze Orman. It's already come from your own actions in signing something that you didn't care enough about in terms of learning about what this really means to you, because you trusted this person and you probably should have trusted this person. Now you find yourself in a situation where this person cannot make these payments. They have missed many payments. Now it's going to really affect you. Now I can see you on TV. And I can see how heavy this is as everybody else, because you are literally, as you're sitting here, my love, breaking out in hives. Can you feel that?
Yeah, I know I'm like a...
Yeah, but that's okay. Because this is the poison that's in you coming out. This is what you need to get out so that you can really be free again, so that you can lose the 80 pounds, you can do the theater that you want, you can feel great about your life versus carrying this burden. Now, I understand that you didn't know about this until recently, but somehow inwardly, Nina, you had to have some idea that something wasn't going right. And
Yeah.
that's what I want to talk to you about. Over the years that you did this and you just simply signed your name, how many times did you have that little voice inside of you saying, why am I doing this? I'm getting myself in trouble. I don't want to do this anymore. How many times, sweetheart?
I think every time I signed my name.
And from the very
thought that.
first time.
Yeah.
And so, do you understand the greatest lesson now that you can learn from this is you must never, ever, ever again go against that little voice. You, Nina, must never, ever again do something that you don't want to do. Because that is the biggest smackdown in life you will ever have, is when you fail yourself. So rather than smacking you down, I want to help pick you up and help hold you up. So here, I'm going to give you some advice.
Okay.
And this advice is not going to be easy.
Okay.
But I am asking you to do exactly what I'm about to tell you to do. Nina, you need to claim bankruptcy on all of this debt. The reason that you need to claim bankruptcy on this debt is you know and I know that there is a very good chance that the person who created this debt in your family is not going to be able to continue at all. They haven't been doing it right now. Make the payments on the mortgages. If they can't make the payments on the mortgages, sooner than later, the home will be foreclosed on, correct? Okay. When the house is foreclosed on, I am sure they owe more money on the mortgage, or you owe more money on the mortgage than the house is currently worth. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Starting in the year 2013, please listen to me. Starting in the year 2013, if you do a short sale, a foreclosure, a deed, whatever it is in lieu of foreclosure, if you owe more on the property than the home is worth, even if it's your primary property, you will owe income taxes on the difference of that amount. I don't want you to find yourself in that situation. You're in that situation right now, believe it or not, because this is not your primary residency. This is this other person's residency. So you will be taxed for it right now, unless you claim bankruptcy. I understand this person will probably be mad at you. I understand that this person is going to not be able to stay in the house or possibly even keep their car that they have. But do you understand that it is not your problem? You're almost 40 years of age, and for the first time in your life, I am asking you to love yourself enough to take one action that's for you and you alone, which is something I don't think you have ever done since the day you were born. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. You wonder why you gain 80 pounds. I wonder, why are people in debt and why do people gain weight? I will forever believe it's because they have low self-worth. And we try to fill up ourselves, that emptiness in ourselves, with buying things or eating. You can change that, and you can change that here tonight on the Suze Orman Show by looking right in the camera and saying, Suze, on Monday morning, I am going to file bankruptcy. I am going to let the relative know that I have no other choice but to do this, that they have not been responsible. I've had my financial life ruined at this point in time, and I am going to start over. The good news about this is that the $7,000 of credit card debt that you currently do have will also be gone. And you will be able to start over for the first time in your life on your own 2 feet with nobody ever being able to take advantage of you again. Do you have what it takes to do this?
Yes.
Are you sure?
I'm not totally sure,
No, I
but
didn't think
I'm going
that.
to say, I'm going to fake it till I make it.
I didn't think you were. Is there anything that I can do to help you become more sure?
Is that going to hurt my wife in any way?
No, this isn't going to hurt your wife any more than she's already being hurt. In fact, it's going to help her, because if all of a sudden you have a horrible FICO score, you're foreclosed on, all these things happen to you, any of these places have the ability to come back to you and actually try to get the money from you, which is in essence getting it from her, your wife, as well. Mm-hmm. If you just do it the legal way, which is claim bankruptcy, shut it down, do the right thing, but be strong enough to tell this person who did this to you and with you that you're doing it out of love, not only for yourself, but for this person as well. Because this person has to start living in reality even more than you do.
Hi Suze, it's me, Nina. So right after leaving your studio, I was in total shock from your advice to declare bankruptcy. At the same time, I felt relieved because it is a solution that would actually give me control of my finances again, and I didn't think that that would be possible. Since my appearance, I've had some tough conversations with my family member who put the car and the 2 properties in my name, and I told her that she has 6 weeks to find some other options, and if she can't figure out anything, then I'm going to go ahead and declare bankruptcy. Also, I've made changes in both my diet and exercise routine, and I'm already feeling a big difference from that. I promise to keep you posted on what happens next. And now I'd like to thank you in Suze language. Girlfriend, your help and your advice means so much to me. I can't even tell you.
Up next,
If I refinance now, does that give my husband any legal rights to the home?
you do not want him to have your home, do you?
Well,
And later, when wanting something, ask me, can I afford it?
I want to buy a dream sports car that I've wanted for years. It's called a Lotus Evora, and my wife thinks it's a silly purchase.
Either you're going to be 50, 55, 60.
You're right. I'm going to be 55 in a couple months. You
Yeah.
nailed that one.
Welcome back to the Suze Orman Show. Mecca in North Carolina, you are on the Suze Orman Show.
Hi, Susie.
Hi, Mecca, what's up tonight?
So here's my predicament. My son, he's 12 years old. We have a big 63-inch plasma screen TV in our living room, and he's playing around with a little rubber ball, and he breaks it. And there was an accident, and he had been warned about playing in that area. And this is an opportunity for us to teach him a lesson about the value of a dollar. It's a very expensive item. He obviously can't get a job to pay us back in money. But I wanted your advice on what I can do to, both as a punishment and both as a lesson, to help teach him about the value of a dollar and help him kind of earn it back.
Mm-hmm. First of all, if you were going to replace it, how much would it cost now?
They don't make the model anymore, so the equivalent is around $3,000.
About $3,000. How much did you originally pay for it when you bought it?
About closer to $4,000.
$4,000. So just remember, the longer you wait, the less something's going to cost you. I don't think it's a bad idea that you don't replace it right away.
Okay.
And that you don't replace it until he earns that money back in working around the house. Because if you just replace it and then you say to him, well, you're going to work this off until it's paid for, he's not going to understand it 12 years of age, but you already have it. Why do I have to pay for it? So if you and your husband are simply willing to go without to teach a serious lesson, then I think it's not a bad idea to say, okay, until you can accumulate $3,000 worth of work, we're not going to have a TV. And to keep a little chart of how much money he's making. Now, this might teach him that the faster he works and the more things he does, and you sign, dollar amounts to certain work jobs for him, he'll learn also later on in life, you can work for money. The faster you work, the more money you make. The more money you make, the faster you can have something or whatever it may be. But that's what I would be doing if I were you. Let's go to Kansas, and we have Sammy for us tonight.
Hello, Susie, and thank you for taking my call.
Anytime, my dear. Sammy, what's up?
I purchased a home a few years ago when I was single, and I have a 6.5% fixed rate. I'm told by my mortgage company that I qualify for about a 3.5% rate under the HARP program.
Yeah.
But my concern is, if I refinance now, does that give my husband any legal rights to the home? It's currently titled and mortgaged in my name only.
That's very funny, because the reason I'm saying that's funny is you do not want him to have your home, do you?
Well, we keep finances separate. I pay everything on the home, and I have a title on death with our county so that the home goes to my children when I die, and I would like to keep it that way.
So this is a second marriage, is that correct?
Ma'am.
Yes, all right, good, all right. Listen, refinance, and don't worry about it as long as you keep the loan in your name, the house just in your name, and you never let him touch any of it on paper, you are fine. All right, Lisa in Texas, let's go for it.
Hi, Susie.
Hi, Lisa.
In 2006, a former boyfriend and I purchased a home together, both names on the mortgage. And we recently split in the beginning of 2011. He stayed in the home and I left. And I'm going to try next year to get my own place. Is there any legal way to get my name off of that mortgage without having it refinanced?
Now, no, there isn't, by the way. But here's the question. If you bought this in 2006, and that is the time that you literally took out a mortgage, interest rates were probably about 5.5%, 6% on this mortgage, correct?
Correct.
Now, why wouldn't your ex-boyfriend want to refinance? There's incentive for him to refinance and lock in 3.5% at today's interest rates in just his name.
Right.
So you could present this to him. Are you still friends?
Yes, we have a son together, so we still are on talking terms.
All right, so if you're on talking terms, then why not say, listen, I want my name off of the mortgage. It's true, But if you were to refinance right now, you would be able to save money because rather than having it at 5.5% interest, you'll only have it at 3% interest or whatever it is. And he'll probably see that's almost cutting that interest rate in half, that he may at this point be able to do it on his own because of the decrease in interest rates. So that's what I would be doing. Up next, you can't afford to miss. Can I afford it?
I would like to buy a nonprofit movie theater called the Pocono Community Theater in East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania.
For $375,000, you want to buy a theater. Also,
all of my buddies, they all have Apple iPads, and I am writing things down on notebook paper like a caveman.
what are you spending? $250 a month on eating out and things like that and drinking, right?
I'm in Chicago.
Oh, please. What do you want to buy?
Lotus Evora.
Nonprofit movie theater.
40-foot Dutchman travel trailer.
Welcome back, everybody. Oh, what a show tonight. I'm sweating here. Anyway, you know what this segment is, don't you? This is Can I Afford It? This is where you call in. Tell me what it is you want to buy, and I tell you if you can afford it or not. Are you ready? Let's go. Mark, what do you want to buy?
Hi, Susie. I want to buy a dream sports car that I've wanted for years. It's called a Lotus Evora, and my wife thinks it's a silly purchase.
Yeah, you must be getting near like some mark. Either you're going to turn, oh, that's funny, you're getting near a mark. So you're going to be 50, 55, 60. Men always right around those 5-year marks. They want to just buy something that is usually ridiculous, but hey, all that matters here is can you afford it or not, Mark? So show me the money.
All righty. Well, you were right. I'm going to be 55 in a couple months. You nailed that one.
Yeah.
My monthly income is about $16,300 after tax.
Yeah, that's great.
Monthly expense is $14,304.
Yeah.
Current debt is I own a house and is a 30-year fixed mortgage at 4.5%. I owe $337,000 on that. And I have a single car loan that's $11,000 at 4.9%.
But let's take a look at your savings. You have $21,000 liquid, $331,000 in investments, and $673,000 in retirement.
Right.
You're about to be 55. How are you going to pay for this?
I'm going to do two things. I'm going to finance it through a credit union at 2.99%. And I've got an old Honda I'm going to use in trade and probably get about $7,000 on that. So my debt on the car would be about $48,000 a month.
And how many years are you going to finance it over?
I'm sorry, it would be over 6 years.
Over 6 years. Denied. Denied. Mark, do you not watch the Suze Orman show? If you have to finance a car for more than 3 years to be able to afford the payments, you are buying a car that you cannot afford. And Mark, you're going to be 55 years of age. You do not have anywhere near the amount of money that you should have in your retirement, in your savings. Are you kidding me? No, Mark. Happy birthday without a car. Jason, what do you want to buy?
Oh, my God. Well, I am a DJ at a FM radio station in Chicago, and all of my buddies, they all have Apple iPads, and I am writing things down on notebook paper like a caveman.
Oh, you poor baby, you poor baby boy, that you have to write it down on paper. I still use paper, I still use a pen, but all right, I get that you want an iPad. They are cool. $650. DJ, let's see, spin me your money tale.
Well, I make $4,432 take home.
That's good.
My expenses are about $3,334 a month. That includes my incredibly high rent. My debt, I've got only a car payment at $17,000. It's about 4% interest. I've got $14,000 liquid in savings, and I just recently realized I'm almost to 30, so I started saving for retirement.
So you
only got about $3,000 in that.
You just realized at the age of almost 30 that you should just now start saving.
28.
You're 28. You're 28. But you have a cool pad, right? A cool, get
Pretty
an
much,
iPad,
yeah.
but you have a pad. Never mind, it doesn't matter. But Jason, all right, not much money here, $650 plus $20 a month. How are you going to pay for it?
I was hoping to just take a little chunk out of that savings, or possibly just toss it on a credit card and hope to get enough to pay that off.
Yeah, so let me toss this out to you. You're denied, boyfriend. You don't have anywhere near what you should have, number one, in retirement at this age. You don't have anywhere near enough in an emergency fund. And when I look through your paperwork, why don't you just cut out the what are you spending, $250 a month on eating out and things like that and drinking, right?
I'm in Chicago.
Oh, please. I grew up in Chicago. 3 months of not eating out is your iPad, boyfriend. But for now, you're denied again. Lisa, what do you want to buy?
I would like to buy a nonprofit movie theater called the Pocono Community Theater in East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania.
For $375,000, you want to buy a theater.
I do, but it's not really about owning the theater as much as helping the nonprofit to buy the theater so that they can get a tax abatement and they can have more luck getting grant money. And you always say people first, then money, then
you,
things.
Lisa. What are you going to do, mortgage your whole life in the future so that you can help somebody else? People first means Lisa's got to take care of herself. But $375,000, show me the money.
Okay.
Show me a lot of money. Show
Well,
me
I'm going-
more than a lot of money.
Well, I'm going to try. My income is $9,000 a month.
Uh-huh.
My expenses, and this is where you're going to not like me very much, but I have an explanation. My expenses are $16,059 a month.
You are doing so good so far, girlfriend. You're just $7,000 a month in a hole, but that's fine. Go on.
Well, it's due to quarterly taxes from the sale of my business, so I will explain that.
All right, so you sold a business and you got a lump sum of money, so you just have to do that for a little bit and then it's over. Go on.
Correct. And then I have no debt other than my mortgage, which is $189,000, 30-year fixed at 4.88%.
And are you going to stay in this home?
I plan to, yes.
Why don't you just pay off your own home?
Well, because otherwise
Because you'd rather buy a theater.
Well, the reason I haven't paid off the mortgage is because it actually keeps my credit good because I have no other existing credit. So I like to have.
Kidding me? Anyway, go on.
So that's it in terms of debt. I have no credit card debt, no any other debt. I own my car outright. Savings, I have $690,000 liquid, $10,000 in investments, and $125,000 in retirement.
How are you going to pay for this?
I would be loaning them essentially $100,000 for their down payment, and the nonprofit would be making all of the additional payments, taxes, monthly expenses, insurance.
So it's going to be
really
in their name.
$100,000.
So everything's going to be in their name. You're giving them essentially $100,000 from your liquid account, which brings you down to $590. Is that correct?
Correct. And they would eventually, if they can, repay me at 4% interest.
And if they can't, you would be okay with that?
Right. Well, that's the risk I would have to take. That's why I'm here with you, Susie.
All right. Do I think you should do this? I do not. Can you afford it? You absolutely can, so you have been approved. But
that is so great.
But wait, if you do this, do it with the expectation that you are never going to see this $100,000 again. All right, Craig, what do you want to buy?
This Dutchman would like to buy a 40-foot Dutchman travel trailer off of Oprah's neighbor.
So you want to buy a fifth wheel, right?
A bumper pole, not a fifth wheel.
They're called bumper poles. I thought I was being cool, but I wasn't being so cool. All right, $7,800 for a travel trailer. Boyfriend, again, you need to show me the money.
All right, income is $59.27. That's after my 23% retirement deferment, not considering my wife's commissions. My commissions and my wife's waitressing tips. But $49.77 is monthly combined and $950 month rental income.
Yeah.
Expenses are $52.80. My debt is $159,000, 30-year fixed at 4.6% primary residence, then 161,000 30-year fixed at 5.25 on a 4-unit apartment complex, and 59,000 20-year fixed balloon on an empty lakefront lot. But after my income and debt, we're still feeding the pig about 16 to 20,000 a year.
All right, go on.
Savings is $90,000 in cash, liquid. Retirement's $153,000. 45 of that is Roth.
And how are you going to pay for this?
Cash.
Cash. So, listen, Craig, here's what's going on tonight. I don't necessarily agree with anything any of you are even wanting to buy, let alone if I approve you to buy it. But you're still young enough. You're doing okay. You've been approved. But really? It's just like, it worries me. These are all signs that says to me everybody's feeling better and the economy's going to be horrible again because you're all trying to do things that are just nuts, if you ask me. Want to be part of the Can I Afford It segment? All you have to do is go to my website, SuzeOrman.com, and you will find the information that you need to know there to come and play with me right here. Next, I tackle trending topics in Ask Suze. If you're taking money out of your pension right now, you're going to miss out on tremendous growth. And in the long run, it will end up actually costing you more than what the interest rates on these loans are costing you. Welcome back, everybody. Here we are once again where the magic happens, the control room at CNBC headquarters. So many ways that you can be part of the Suze Orman Show. Take a look at your screen. You can send in an email. You can tweet me. You can become a fan on Facebook. Or if you send in a question that says #AskSuze, if we choose it, we'll answer it right here on air. Let's see what's trending right now. All right, we have Charlotte, 32391, ask, how can I establish credit? I'm a student. I have no debt or loans, yet no one will approve me for a credit card. I get it, girlfriend, but here's what you can do. 2 things. Number 1, if you want, you can get what's called a secured credit card. Now, I'm not a lover of these cards, just so you know, but you can get a secured credit card. You put up $500. They then give you a credit card. You go to charge things and you pay it off at the end of every month and you'll start to establish credit for yourself. Or you can try this. I'm not really sure it works anymore, but you got nothing to lose. If your parents have a great FICO score or a credit score, if they put your name on all of their credit cards as an authorized user, their FICO score becomes your FICO score, which means you can get a credit card. You might want to look into it. Let's see what else we have. We have from Lynn Spock. When is the best time to collect Social Security? The later, the better. Listen to me closely now. From the age of 62 to essentially 67, your Social Security payments increase by 6% a year. From 67 to 70, those payments increase by 8% a year. The farther off it is that you take it, the better off you will be. Now, I used to say different things years ago when you could collect full Social Security at 65. There was only an 80% reduction if you did it at 62. So depending on your situation, that will dictate when you kind of have to take it. But the longer you can postpone it, the better off you will be. All right, let's go to the Suze webcam. We have Kelly coming to us from New Jersey, 28 years of age. Girlfriend, ask me your question.
Hi, Suze. I'm a teacher in New Jersey with $14,400 in my pension. I was wondering if I should take out $7,200 in a pension loan at 5.25% to pay off 3 of my student loans that are at higher interest rates.
All right, of the 3 of the student loans that we're talking about, are any of those loans private student loans?
Yes.
And the private student loan that you have is at what interest rate?
10.75.
All right, 10.75, everybody. Listen to me closely now. And how much do you owe on that private student loan?
About $3,500.
All right, here's what I want you to do. I do not want you to take a loan from your pension to pay off anything other than this one private student loan. Why? Private student loans can go up to any interest rate. Private student loans you can be in trouble with. So I don't mind you having to pay 5.25% in order to pay off that one student loan. The other ones, I do not want you to pay off with a pension loan. Do you hear me, girlfriend?
Yes, thank you.
Great. All right, let's go back to the studio, and here's what's coming up next. Jane asked me, Susie,
how am I doing? I work hard and yet sometimes feel like I'm spinning my wheels and hope my debt hasn't derailed my future.
You're paying $350 a month for your son's car payment, aren't you?
Yes.
And you cannot afford that, correct, Jane?
That is true.
Welcome back to the Suze Orman Show.
Hi, Susie. I'm 55, divorced, and a longtime single parent of 2 grown kids. I work hard and yet sometimes feel like I'm spinning my wheels and hope my debt hasn't derailed my future. My goal is to retire from teaching at 62 and continue to work my part-time job as a kitchen designer. Susie, how am I doing?
Jane, so here's the real question. First of all, welcome to the Suze Orman Show. How do you think you're doing? You want to retire in 7 years from the job that you have. Do you think that you are on track to be able to do so? What grade would you give yourself?
Well, hi, Susie. Thank you so much for having me. I would give myself a C- at this time, based on my debt and the fact that I do not have an emergency fund.
Let's take a look at your numbers and see how you are really doing. All right, everybody. So Jane is, as she said, 55 years of age. She has only $144,000 in retirement. Now, let me just break that down for you for a second. $92,000 of that $144,000 is a pension. So if she decides to take a bigger pension at the age of 62, then $92,000 is not in there, just so you know. She has an emergency fund of only $564. She has investments of $14,494. Her current home value is $300,000. She has consumer debt of $58,815. A lot of kids in that debt. And mortgage debt of about $233,000. So her total debt minus her total assets gives her a net worth of $167,000. How do you feel about that number at the age of 55?
Well, the debt is what scares me.
And so that's what we're going to work on. So we have a net worth there of 155 at 55, low net worth. However, at least you got something, girlfriend. But now let's just check in on income versus expenses. So if we look at your income after taxes, you do bring home $6,365 a month. Your monthly expenses are $5,817 a month. You're saving right now about $50 per month towards that emergency fund, but that then gives you still excess, according to the numbers that you provided us, with $500 a month that you're probably just wasting somewhere because you don't even realize what you're doing with your money. If you stay on track as to where you are, I've given you a D. I don't think you're going to be able to retire at 62, even at that time of being able then to make extra money as a designer, as you so wish. One of the key elements is that, you have a home. And you need the house paid off, you need the credit card gone, you need all of these things, and that isn't how you have set yourself up. So here is your way to an A, girlfriend. So you're going to stick with me and do what I tell you?
Absolutely.
Let's go for it. All right, currently, as we just showed, from the income versus your expenses, we're showing about a $500 a month excess. I want you to take that $500 a month excess right now, and I want you to apply it to the credit cards that you are currently paying down. So you're paying about $500 a month on credit cards. I want you to add another $500 a month to those credit cards. Got that?
Yes.
Once you have done that and all your credit cards are gone, if you have financed a car for your son, in 2 years, you're paying $350 a month for your son's car payment, aren't you?
Yes.
And you cannot afford that, correct, Jane?
That is true.
All right, so you are not going to do that again, correct, Jane?
Oh, definitely not.
Now, in a few years, your credit card debt will be gone. That will give you an extra $1,000 per month, because that's what you will be paying towards your credit card debt. And at that time, the car that you have purchased for your son that's costing you $350 a month is going to be paid off. That will give you $1,350 per month extra that you're going to apply towards your mortgage. If you do so, you should have your mortgage that you currently have paid off by the time you are 62. Now here you are at the age of 62. Now you have a choice of what kind of pension do you take. You currently have $92,000 in your retirement account. If you take that in a lump sum, which they're telling you will be about $180,000 in 7 years, your monthly pension will be about $3,300 per month. But if you leave that in there, your monthly pension will be $5,000 per month. I want you to leave it in there. Got that?
Okay.
I want you to take $5,000 a month. Now, all of these years, you will have been saving money in the other money you have in your retirement account. That will give you about $90,000 that you can access at 62 in case of an emergency. You should be just fine, and at the age of 70 is when I want you to start taking Social Security. That will be an extra $3,000 a month that will give you that boost to carry you all the way through. That's your plan, and that is what I want you to do. Up next, one more thing that I want you to know. I am asking you to pay attention to your money. I am asking all of us to help each other when it comes to our finances. Welcome back to the Suze Orman Show. All right, everybody, that brings us to the end of the Suze Orman Show, but there's still one more thing that I want you to know. Tonight was a perfect example of what could happen when you don't pay attention to your finances. Nina, my one-on-one guest, found out that she owed almost $450,000 when she didn't even owe anything, really, because she signed paperwork that she didn't know what she was signing. I am asking you to pay attention to your money. I'm asking you to come back here every single week. I am asking all of us to help each other when it comes to our finances so that we can be the people that we are meant to be, where we don't have to lose sleep over money because we are in control of it. You got that? Now you know. But until next week, there's only one thing that I want you to remember when it comes to your money, and it is this: people first, then money, then things. Now you stay safe. Bye-bye.